Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
You know you're gold. You don't gotta worry none. Oasis child, born and so wild. Don't I know you better than the rest? All deception from you. That's Beach House. Their song Zebra off of their masterpiece, Teen Dream. My name is Matthew Keel. This is Story Route Zero, episode 41. And we're here to talk about video games. I brought three friends along this journey with me. Transplant masshole Michaela, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Happy to be here. Representing Jersey and apparently the rebirth of firing guns, Jason Marshall.
How's it
How
going?
are you? I'm doing well. Yourself?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Oh, sure you could. Not with that attitude.
I have not a complaint in the world.
And the mouth in the South. And the mouth in the South. Moose Cool, how are you?
Good. How's it going, Matt? You good?
Oh, I'm better now. So we normally talk about video games here, but first we ask how the weekend was. I'm gonna go first if that's okay.
No, what? No, whoa. No, whoa. Go ahead.
Because I watched both Addams Family movies with my wife, and those movies are still fucking good.
Great. The rest of the night, I'm going to be like, dun-dun-dun-dun.
No, I'm not doing that. No. I'm not cool enough. But I did say that like one of my never gonna happen dreams is to own an Addams Family pinball machine.
That'd be cool.
And Reba, I showed it to Reba, and like I showed it to her in action. She's like, I might allow that if it were to ever be possible, but they're like, I'm pretty sure I could get a used car for less than a good condition working Addams Family pinball machine. But
that's probably true.
Those movies are really good, and I think I'll rate Addams Family Values slightly less because the theme song that was released around the movie was by Tag Team, and it was a variation on Whoop, There It Is. And it's not good at all. Whereas at least the first movie had like MC Hammer at the height of his popularity all over it. Like this was in the midst of Too Legit to Quit, if you remember that. Michaela, you don't, we know.
I know of it, but I was not around to remember it.
and his theme song, Adam's Groove, way better than the Tag Team one. I'll say that right here, right now. But those movies are fun. We also basically decided to not do anything except for, we did a grocery store trip, but we decided we were only going to do prepared foods because we know what kind of shitstorm this week is going to be in. And then that was alleviated because I forgot I'm off all week. So firing on all cylinders. Michaela, how was your weekend?
Hold on. $12,999 refurbished Addams Family pinball machine.
Yep, that's more than a low-end car.
Yeah, I could buy a used car for my eventual kid and both of Jason's kids for less. Granted, used cars are not supposed to be good. Michaela, how was your weekend? Clemson played Miami.
Clemson played Miami. It was a very entertaining game for the first time in the whole season. Not just because they played a good team, but because there was a lot of interesting play calls going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like at one point, they were just screwing with Miami and trying whatever was in their playbook. Like I'd like to see Clemson flex that muscle because they constantly rotate. They're deep at every position. They get exposure to all their players. They try out every play in the book. There was a couple plays, I want to say two plays back to back where Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback, was lined up in the slot as a receiver. Completely confused the Miami defense. There was one where he rolled out to his right and then like threw back over his body into like the most complicated screen I've ever seen. It was just a fun game to watch. Travis Etienne had a night. So that was entertaining for the first time in a while instead of being a bajillion to 0 15 minutes into the game.
What was the final score?
42-17-ish, 20 maybe? I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Did you ever now do you only follow Clemson or do you kind of just watch college football?
Depends. Usually I'm more involved in it this year with the pandemic and conference only play. I find that I'm not watching as many games, but I do follow the league, even if I don't necessarily watch 5 games every Saturday.
Sure.
But last year I definitely watched more of it.
Did you ever watch Boise State from about 10 years ago?
I didn't get into college football till I was in college.
Okay. Yeah, and I know that this would have put you in, what, 16? I was just curious. Fucking kids. Well, no, but you were saying like the confusing play, and whenever anyone talks about trick plays, I'm immediately drawn back to Boise State of that era because all they did were run trick plays, and they would run them against anybody, and it was great to watch. It was some of the best football I've ever seen. I wish they would have gotten credit for their victories, but they never really did. So yeah. What else happened this weekend for you? Anything?
I did my usual. I worked out. Saturday we had some nice weather, so I went for a 2-hour run/walk. Played some games. I started my every October I like to read and watch Halloween themed things, even though I'm not like a horror person. But I started my very classic 90s rewatch of Buffy. And I wrote 2 articles for the site over the weekend for Obelisk.
Cool. Details, girlfriend.
One was about Hades. So we've already had this conversation. It's basically all my takeaways that I already brought to the table in the last episode. Mostly focusing on how they started their drive towards procedural storytelling in Pyre and then needed a shift in genre to make that replayability engine to drive towards the procedural storytelling. And we talked about how they mete out reward that fuels that replayability. So that's really just what the article focuses on. And the other article I wrote about is one that I've been postponing for like a year, I feel like, which was an explanation of what the China Hero Project is, the studios and the games involved, and why now is a particularly important time to be keeping your eye on those games and those developers, and why it's a particularly exciting project for Sony, for indie devs, for anyone who's a fan and a consumer in that particular ecosystem.
After we're done with weekends, do you want to talk about that here? Because I'd be interested.
Sure.
All right. Anything else before we move to the next person?
I literally don't even remember the rest of the weekend. That was about it.
Alcohol. Great. Moose. Thumbs up, thumbs down? Cool. Any highlights? Okay. He's shaking his head. So now, Jason, how about you? Thumbs to the side. So I believe that's a scientific international symbol for.
So Friday, me and Jess and Amelia go to sit down for lunch. Jess's phone rings, but she doesn't answer unknown calls, but it looked familiar. Then she got a voicemail and realized it was school, the nurse's office. So immediately it's like, here we go. Here the fuck we go.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aria had pink eye, which, as anyone in the medical field will tell you, could be a symptom of that thing going around. Went to the doctor, got the pink eye drops,
Smallpox. No.
took a rapid test, negative, took a regular test. Results came back negative. We were in the clear. But that was fun because we canceled pumpkin picking because we were waiting on the results. We didn't want to go because that would have been incredibly irresponsible. Notre Dame won. So they demolished most of the state of Florida on their way out.
Whatever's left of it.
Yeah, it was a blowout.
Yet it's still here.
That was the only no other football happened that I'm aware of. I don't think they played any more football anywhere else, anywhere.
That was the bottom of the division, buddy.
So the Giants lost.
Man,
I know that at some point the Buccaneers played the Bears, and I didn't watch it, but it was like the rematch of Foles and Brady, and I think Foles won. So I'll say it right now. Fuck Tom Brady.
For the most part, Arya recognizes how to read, so she knew the letters and she knew it said NYG and then Dallas, and she's like periodically reading the score to me. And then at some point, I'm like, all right, stop it.
You kid was, I love it. She's trolling you.
Oh, Jason's sitting on the couch with his head down going, "Et tu, Arya."
It's all grown up and ready to troll.
I did have my Fury Unleashed review published, pun and all.
Yeah.
They got the pun in.
And it was a showy pun. I did read
at
it.
Least I was up.
Originally, he put put my initials next to it.
Awesome.
I took it out.
Of course you did.
You can find that review at obelisk.co.
Yes. You can find both of these folks' writing at obelisk.co.
And
it
then
says at the end of every show.
That's about, we did a little more cleaning and decluttering for the eventual, when we find a house and we sell, because they're both going to be at the similar time, which is going to be fun.
Right? I've heard it's kind of a buyer's market at this point. Like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a few we like, and they're gone 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. Or like, oh, full and final offer. And we're like, okay, we'll go in 5 over the asking. And then our realtor comes back. Someone asked for 50 over. Nope, I'm out. It's cool. I'm out. Nope, you're good.
Man.
But yeah, so
people just throwing fuck you money around for houses apparently.
And then when you hear like, oh, they got an all cash offer, and we're like, huh. Check the mattresses quick. But yeah, so we're kind of, because once we buy, we're going to list. They're not going to be contingent on each other, but we kind of have to move, because if you don't go in with the contingency, you're more attractive to a seller. So it's going to be one of the, but our realtor's confident he'll sell ours. Like it's going. So yeah, we've been trying to not pack, but kind of declutter and condense. So when we have to, like, we can kind of like pack quickly in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, all my toys are still at work. Stuck on my desk.
The wall of Funko Pops.
Yeah. That's about it.
Okay. Well, Michaela, before we go to games, tell us about the China Hero Project.
Sure thing. So the China Hero Project is a program that Sony started about 3, almost maybe 4 years ago. where they are making a concerted effort to partner with mostly startup independent developers in and around China to help fund their games and bring them to a global market. So helping them, break out of that very, tight-walled Chinese market and get them onto a global platform where they can reach particularly Western audiences. And the reason I wanted to write about this is because it flies way under the radar. A lot of people have never heard of the China Hero Project or never heard of any of the games involved in it, or maybe if they have heard of one or two of the games, they didn't know it was a part of the project. So there's been 2 waves of developers. The first wave, the big notable one for me that got me attracted to the project was Lost Soul Aside. Are you guys familiar with that one?
The Devil
Know
May
the
Cry.
name.
Yeah, it looks like FF15 mixed with Devil May Cry. So it looks like the art style of like Final Fantasy 15, like the original YouTube buzz exploded because the guy looks like Noctis from FF15, but with Devil May Cry combat. You should look up the trailer. The original trailer, there's like some textural pop-in issues, but that was 4 years ago, and you got to look at this thing. It was being made by one dude. It was being made by one dude, and it looked like FF15. It's insane what he was doing. His name is Yongbing. And then he got picked up by the project, and now he has a small studio of about 10 people supporting him to finish the project. There was about 4 or 5 other developers in that first wave, and then the second wave includes the people behind games like Hardcore Mecha, Evo Tinction, AI Limit, Fist Forged in Shadow Torch, Anno Mutationem. I'm not pronouncing that right. I have no idea.
That was announced at the PlayStation.
It had already been announced, but PlayStation, when they did that like series of like 9 indie games, they highlighted about a third of them were from the China Hero Project, like Fist Forged and Shadow Torch, which I'm super hyped for, was in there too. They're usually shown off more so at China Joy, which happens every August. And the reason I decided to write about the project now is because we're getting to the point where some of these games are starting to come out. But also mainly because of Genshin Impact, which is not a part of the project. Genshin Impact is not a CHPJ game, but it is an independent Chinese-based and developed game by MiHoYo Studios, where Sony partnered with them to make it a timed exclusive for their console, and it has very quickly become the most successful launch of a new IP from a Chinese developer. It surpassed 50 million in revenue in its first week, and that number has now more than doubled to be over 100 million in revenue as a free-to-play game. It is the game that most people originally found out about because that guy got pissed and smashed his PS4 because it looks like a Breath of the Wild clone, and a lot of people I've seen it referred to as Breath of the Waifus.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I'm jealous of that. Like, geez, I should have fucking thought of that one.
But the point is, it's there is a huge opportunity for these small developers in and around China. And I always say in and around China because people like Yongbing, I believe he's originally Korean, to have huge success and drive some of the big noteworthy indies that we're going to see over the next couple of years. Like Lost Soul Aside, I guarantee is going to be a huge hit when it finally comes out. AI Limit's going to be cool. That Anno. I'm
looking at the trailer for Lost Soul Aside. This looks batshit.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Like it's ridiculous.
It was being made by one dude. And so it's basically Sony's recognized a huge opportunity for these untapped indie markets, and we're going to be seeing the results of that attention from the program over the next couple of years. So some of the biggest indie launches for Sony's ecosystem are going to be coming out of this project, and that's why I wanted to bring attention to it, because it's flying way under the radar.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the only thing I'd heard about it is you had mentioned it since you started here a couple of times and not really gone into more detail. So I'm glad because I was kind of in and out of being like online for the past few days. It's like I missed your story. So thank you for talking about it here. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, it's been less than 24 hours since I even put it out.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that was really it. So the article just shows basically, it doesn't go in depth into descriptions about the different games that are part of the project, but really just trying to bring attention to it, period. Because even when Sony promotes these games, they're not promoting them as a part of the project. Like you saw, like Animutanium, or I can't pronounce the name, Fist, stuff like that. When they're promoting it, they're just promoting it as indie games. And I want people to know where these are coming from, because if you're not keeping an eye on this, you don't know what's coming in the pipeline for really big releases from the indie space.
True. Thank you for going into the article. Appreciate
No
it.
problem. Thank you for listening to my rant.
We will listen all the time. But now, let's talk about games. More games, for that matter. What have you been playing, Michaela? I'm going to start with you.
I played a lot of things, which is unusual for me. I have a problem with indecision right now. I can't decide what to play. I have so many games to play. There's so many games coming out. There's so many games in my backlog. And we were talking, it is 1 month to the PS5. And like that anxiety is set in. Like it's not possible to play everything that I want to play before it comes out. So I can't.
You mention one.
One. Just one.
I mean, there's one game you could play relatively quickly with a little help.
You guys might get lucky. We'll see. I have so many. So
Heard that before.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
In terms of what I walked right into that. I can just slam myself with the door. But in terms of what I played this week, I played a little bit of Genshin Impact before writing the article, because I knew about the game. I had watched parts of the game. I just hadn't played it yet, and I didn't feel right writing an article inspired by its success without having played the damn game. So I played a little Breath of the Waifus. I played some more Hades, because when we did the game club, I'd beaten it, but I hadn't beaten it with every weapon, so now I have done that. I played some Crash 4, enjoying that very much. I love Tawna. She changes up the gameplay. I really enjoy playing as Tawna, and I love her redesign. I played...
So wait, you would say it's something that Activision didn't fuck up?
Yes, but I'm going to give the credit all to Toys for Bob.
Okay.
Activision's really just publishing.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Toys for Bob are good at making games. Like it sucks that like people look at them as like the Skylanders folks, but like those games were good.
Well, I think recently people have looked at them as the Spyro remake.
Yeah, they did that, right?
They did the Spyro Reignited trilogy,
and that looks fantastic.
I forget that they did that. Yeah, you're right.
Very, very good. Smooth graphics. Looks modern but true to the original. Very good job. The only thing about Crash 4, speaking of modern, that I don't like is that his arms come out of his head. I don't love that.
They always did, didn't they?
Not quite to this extent.
Are they like...
Are they like ear hands?
They're up there. But like Coco, Tawna, they all look great. I've touched very, very briefly. I haven't been able to really get into it yet, but I have played like an hour of Aegis Rim, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim.
Oh yeah, the Vanillaware.
Yeah, the more I like, Moose and I had talked about this game like probably 4 months ago.
Yeah,
and we were just kind of like, nah, but I keep seeing shit from it. I'm like,
keep seeing good shit about it. Not that I wasn't like I was thinking bad about it when we talked about it, but I was just like, we got so much other things.
Exactly.
Play, it seems like they're breaking away from their, side scroller, like combat a little bit, Yeah. I mean, not that it needs to be like Dragon's Crown or Odin's Sphere, but or that. But I don't know. Like it's looking more and more interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they're really enjoying it and liking it. So, and it's gotten some really good reviews. So,
yeah. I really want to dig into it. I haven't given it time yet, so I can't really form an opinion on it other than, damn, it's pretty.
Yeah, I mean that's usually the first thing you say about a Vanillaware game. Just like, fuck, this is pretty looking. Anything else?
Those are the 4 I played. I got a limited run game in the mail. I got a physical Switch copy of Ys Origin. So add
Cool.
that to the friggin' backlog.
Now, had you played this before or no?
No. I had not. I'm not, for all my JRPG-ness, I have not been super into Ys as a franchise. I've played Ys 8, and that's the only one I've actually, like, played, beaten, gotten all the way through, and I enjoyed it. The first couple hours took me a while to get into it, but I ended up really liking it. So now I'm trying to get more into the series, especially with Ys 9 coming out in February for the West, I believe.
Played Ys games so long ago at this point.
I always want to say Ys, like
so
Ys.
long ago. Yeah.
And so
No,
Ys
is a word. The only reason I know it's pronounced Ys is because Joanna Newsom in like 2006, her debut album was called Ys, and I listened to it because I'm like, oh, one of them is going to be JRP. No, it's not anything like that. It's basically
negative.
It's one of the pinnacles of the freak folk movement of that decade. So it's way different, but it's really good. But I feel like I played super early Ys games. I mean, we're talking close to 2 decades ago now. And I mean, far be it for me to remember anything from then. But I'd be interested in, I have memories of Salsetta for my Vita, but never
I picked that
opened
one up.
it.
I picked that one up for
So-
the PS4 version that came out this year, but I haven't touched it yet.
Yeah.
Yep. Memories of Donna is the only one that I have played, and Donna was my favorite part of that game. So, because her story was cool. But yeah, that's pretty much what I played. So I played like 4 different games, which is unusual for me. It is uncomfortable. I like to have one main game that I focus on. I feel so unfocused. Like I can't decide what to play because I have too many things to play. So I'm like, it's like pressure. So tomorrow I'm gonna like try and sit down and like focus on like one for a little bit. Just figuring out what that is. Like I'm really enjoying Crash, but I also really suck at it. Like really bad. Like not a little bit, I really suck at Crash.
Not a little. I really suck at Crash.
Well, Jeff's not
so
on
you
the
are-
show. Jeff's not
so
on the
you
show,
are
so someone's got to do
crashing.
That was bad. That was very bad. But it's really well made. I know it hasn't like met certain like sales milestones that people were hoping it would. But it's reviewing very well. It's made very well. It feels like classic Crash, but it still feels like a modern game. It looks nice. It plays nice. The controls are good. The characters are great. The levels are very, very hard in some spots. I just suck. I suck at Crash.
That's okay.
Platformers are not my forte, but Crash is particularly difficult. And then I don't know if I'm going to keep playing too much of Genshin. I feel like that's one where that would need to be my main game that I would need to focus on because I would forget the controls very easily. The controls are weird. They're mapped weird. Attack is circle. I fucking hate that. And you can't remap it. But yeah, so.
It's an entertaining game.
Yeah, it's fun. It's pretty. The voice acting is
pretty.
good.
Yeah, it's I don't know if I'd stay with it. I mean, I want to go back to it to try it a little bit more, but it's definitely entertaining for what it is.
I think also part of my problem is coming off of P5, it's hard to pick my next game because I was just like here in terms of how much I was enjoying that. And same with Hades, and I can't put Hades down either. It's hard to move to the next one.
If you want to go like a little bit higher, there's a little game out there that allows for some co-op that, just saying, just throwing it on the table.
You're never not throwing it on the table.
That's right.
It's a name that means like remains.
I can't remember.
What is it? Let's give her a break. She could play Remnant when she wants, but you could play Borderlands with all of us because it's 4-player.
You might get me there because remember my goal for this year was to play more FPS, and I've played 1 so far.
There we go. Okay. We talking.
What'd you play? What was the one you played already? I forgot.
Titanfall 2 was a PS Plus title, and I played that with my friend Neon a little bit back in like March.
Cool.
It's a good game.
My goal was to not play a visual novel, and I'm still on track.
I tried
You
this
have to
year.
purchase.
I tried to play a visual novel this
to
year, and
play
I
with.
did not like it.
Oh,
I tried.
I'll have one next month. Persona 5's in the PlayStation Plus collection.
That is not a fucking visual novel. It's a dungeon crawling turn-based.
That was a low blow.
Jason, I like you. I consider you a friend. I respect you. You're fucking wrong there, my friend. Like you were just. I'm not even sure.
I know it's not a visual novel. I just wanted to
stir the pot.
Yep.
Cool.
Somebody else's turn to talk.
Moose, you've talked the least. Have you played any games? And if you do a head shake, I swear to fucking God. Oh, you fucking asshole.
I didn't say that was a nod. You said head shake.
Yeah, I know, but I figured.
Of
course. Fuck
played
off.
all the old favorites. So
the Division, the Bloodborne, the Dark Souls 3. Yeah, no. What else? I'm kidding, man.
Vision, Soul.
No, that's what I played. I played Bloodborne. I played Division 2 with Muffins, and I played Dark Souls 3 for PvP.
How'd PvP go?
It went well. I won most of my fights. I beat Marco fair and square. That was fun. I recorded it too. He was
cool.
He was
Put him in the ground.
We also got a clip of him rolling off of the roof in the Ligarius fight. And he said we were co-oping, and our buddy was like, "Did you just roll off the roof?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "His attack forced me off the roof." And he's like, "I think you rolled." And he's like, "No, I didn't." So
let's clip this.
4 hours later, we're playing Dark Souls 3 PvP, and our friend Punk and Drublick shares a Twitter link, and it's his Twitter page posting the clip, and it's a blatant roll. Like, he turned and rolled, but he rolled like twice. And like the second time, you're like, if you like would have saw where you were going. he was like, "I'm out."
Pretty sure I saw that Twitter.
Let's go to the replay. Jim Nance and Tony Romo. Tony.
But I feel it's a terrible fight. And then Ligarius got stuck in the corner. Like, he wouldn't come out of the corner of the roof.
Yeah, keep him back there.
And then he just wrecked me. And so we eventually got him. But we did some Bloodborne co-op, and then I helped Razzie with 2 dungeons last night. So we're slowly moving through the Joust dungeons to help him get the plat. That's the main reason why is Hammer Bros.
That's fine.
They call and I got to answer. But
yeah.
And then Dark Souls 3 PvP was just fun because a buddy of ours who's been doing Bloodborne PvP wants to do Dark Souls 3 PvP. And so we're all like, hell yeah, let's hop on. So he was streaming it, and we had a good time with that. And Division, we're moving along. We're both, I think, Muffin's like almost 65, 70, and I'm level 60, and we're not even halfway through the Manhunt
Summit.
Yeah, well, no, the Manhunts, because the season's 100 levels, and it's 8 weeks total, and we're not even through 4 weeks, and we're already more than like halfway through the season. So we're doing pretty well with that, and that's been a good time. But that's about it. I wanted to play more Hades, but like I was just hanging out with everybody and chatting, so it just rolled with being more social. Because like when I play Hades, I just sit in a party and I don't really chat because I'm focusing.
Yeah,
we were all like joking and picking on each other and laughing at Marco for rolling off a roof. Yeah. I only say that because I know he'll hear this.
Well, but see, also with Hades, it's just like you can't have your friends in your ears while you're trying to romance Megara and Dusa.
I know it kind of ruins it. But yeah, so I just lost. I still have yet to beat it with the sword, which is pissing me off. I'm hating that weapon more and more. But I had a really, really good build this last run. And like an idiot, I went for the double boon. And I picked Zeus and got a really good one. And then Aphrodite just wrecked my goddamn shop with her little hearts floating around that come out of nowhere. And I was like, I should have just went for the pomegranate, took an upgrade.
My rule is if I'm going to do one of those trials, if an Aphrodite is one of them, pick Aphrodite.
That's true. That's a good point.
She and Poseidon are the two most annoying.
Yeah, Zeus probably, Zeus
probably be annoying too, though, because she puts a shield up around enemies, and if you do it in Elysium, like you get those ones that regenerate after you.
Oh yeah, those are a nightmare. Yeah, but Zeus is probably the least because you'll see the lightning strike coming, so you could at least like dash out of the way. So that's right. I'll remember that for next time. I should have went that route. But anyways, I got back to the house and Meg was, picking up her stuff from the room, and I was like, wait, I didn't see anything. What? But anyway, I was like, we didn't see anything happen, not even
what
like
you doing in here, Meg?
Yeah, exactly. Just picking up my stuff. Okay, bye. And so, still trying to. I know I've been trying to read up on getting Orpheus down to meet his wife, and I'm still trying to figure that out. So I got to get his contract, and I'm like, I have access. So I think one of the problems I have with the games, and I didn't really think of it till now, it's probably my only problem, is like if you're on a path for a quest already, you have to exhaust that path before you can go on anything else. So obviously right now I'm on Meg's path, and I can't do anything else until I exhaust her dialogue options and finish that little quest. So I've seen some YouTube videos on that's how they built their storytelling, which is not a problem. It's just like, well, after I talk to that person, or like I start Meg's quest and I've exhausted an option with her, I should be able to go finish Orpheus's quest in the same house on the same like return back to the house. It shouldn't take another run through trying to get back there to fulfill that, but whatever.
We've all seen that scene in Goodfellas where they start at one guy and then the other guy goes, hey, remember that thing we got to do? He's like, oh yeah, we'll do that thing. And then you walk through the room some more, and the other guy's like, hey, forget about me over here. All these conversations can happen in one go.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. In a good tracking shot. Thank you, Martin Scorsese. But anyway.
But yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I'll probably beat it with the sword and probably never play the sword again. That's what my task is, because I want to get I think you get 10 Titan blood from beating it with every weapon.
Yep.
So I want to get that, and then.
But then when you do it with all the hidden aspects of every weapon, you get 2 ambrosia for each.
Yeah. So you have to upgrade to unlock the aspects. So like my thing is like, I have to have the Titan's blood to do that. And so, that's what I'm working for.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Trying to remember what I did for my sword build, like when I got out, because it was actually the second one I popped it with. It was one of those where I was like, I just picked it because it was the one that was going to get me more darkness that time, and when I was grinding through. Lately I've been doing a shitload of Doom, just like piling on all of the Doom effects.
Yeah, I like Doom. I like Doom stuff too. With this last build that I had, it was the vast majority was Zeus. So like I shot out a wave. So the hammer gave me a wave forward. I also did 200% or 300% damage to people attacking from behind. Then I had the Zeus boon where it would like do a shock. When I dashed, it would leave a lightning bolt behind. And then I also had the one where it would bounce. I think it was Artemis's. It was like a duo boon where like it bounces a second up to 2 more times. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, I think my problem with the sword is I just haven't played it enough. I'm sure if I did like 5 to 6 more runs, I'd be fine with it. Because like the spear, I'm pretty good with the spear because I've played probably 30 deaths with that. But it's just the sword. I'm just trying to learn like the distances, and I just don't think it does enough damage. I don't know. I just feel like the other hammer upgrades for the other weapons are better, like the fists and the spear and the bow. I
think
don't
you
know.
gotta focus. What I found with weapons that I'm not as good with, you gotta focus on buffing one thing, either the attack or the special, so that you maximize the damage that you output,
Yeah.
and maybe put like a status effect on the other one, but not worry about doing damage with that one.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I made it as far as that. Sorry, I made it as far as the randomized, the RNG Jesus stage, and then died to some shit ass poison. So, because it wasn't doing enough damage. But anyways,
Satyrs are dicks.
Yeah.
Well, the usual at first. Warcraft's pre-patch launches tomorrow, so there was a few things I wanted to clean up that were going away.
That's where he's been.
No, let me finish. Listen.
Yeah, that's where he's been.
I'm about 80% of the way through the Avengers campaign. So that's where I've been.
How's that?
It's a really good story. And the switching between the heroes is they all play quite differently. That it's not just like basically a skin over like, oh, you play Hulk, then you play Miss Marvel. Like they feel differently. Like you have to approach it in a different like way.
Okay.
Like you play Hulk and you obviously just run in and just wreck shop and throw concrete at people. But then Iron Man, you can't be like in the thick of it. You're kind of on the outside. So that's fun. When I finish, I'll be doing multiplayer with Jeff because he finished the campaign. I tried Mario 35. I don't know what the hell you're supposed to do other than like Tetris. I understand like sending the blocks elsewhere, but like Mario 35, I guess I have to play more of it. Definitely like Tetris 99 better than Mario 35 so far, but and then I've been playing a lot of Gunfire Reborn. It is a FPS roguelite. Surprise!
Is this on PC?
Yes.
That's where he's been.
No. Is this that one that's kind of like Borderlands?
So it's cell shaded like Borderlands 1. It looks like that.
I think I've seen a video on this. This looked really good. But anyways, continue.
It kind of plays out like Dead Cells does. You start out, you have one weapon, but you pick up another weapon and like it's random what you pick up. There's usually hidden chests that have like, you know, in Dead Cells have the 3 power-ups to choose from. Usually like which one you want to boost. So it has something similar. You get like a boost to like your grenade or your gun or like an elemental damage. And you basically clear a floor, go through a portal, and you just keep going until there's a boss fight. When you die, there's you can spend it on talent points. The thing is, when you die, you have the currency to spend on a talent point. If you don't spend all the currency, you lose it. But you can't actually spend all of it because it's like you'll have like 27 and something costs 20. So obviously you have 7 left over. You're just going to lose it though. So you're basically starting every run fresh. But as you go, like any roguelite, it becomes easier. Like you boost your health and you're lasting longer, or you boost your weapon damage, you're going through things quicker.
Okay.
But I think this is the first like FPS I've played roguelike that I could think of that I'm really, really into. I can't even think of many.
Did any of us play Void Bastards? Because I still haven't. I haven't.
I played briefly. I got through 3 characters.
Well, you like
Risk of Rain
2?
What?
Risk of Rain 2.
I guess technically.
Oh yeah, that's your third, but still.
I mean, I guess
it's not side scroller like Dead Cells or Unleashed Fury or
Right.
Yeah, Fury
Neon
Unleashed.
Abyss or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Void Bastards would be the closest, but I don't
You
think
guys
I'd
play turn-based roguelikes? You play a lot of roguelikes, but you guys almost never talk about turn-based ones,
no.
which is technically where the genre comes from.
Well, yeah, technically, yeah, you could make the argument that
Everything else
the
is roguelike.
roguelikes that we play aren't technically roguelikes. I mean, as someone who's a devout fan of the podcast Roguelike Radio, I've had a lot of people, I've listened to a lot of hours of people telling me I'm wrong about what a roguelike is. But I think I've also admitted that we use the word specifically to sort of talk about what it actually is.
I think the genre has evolved. So yeah, I think we're
This
at
is
the
a-
point of just
This is
saying
a rogue light or a run light, as Matt made me aware of the term. Because it's more
Yeah.
about the run, and you don't lose everything. Because obviously, rogue, you died, you started over,
Yeah.
nothing carried. That's why where the light portion you kind of carry over and get better, like just by virtue of you keep trying. Eventually, you're just you should be better because your health will be more, your weapon damage will be more, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. It's in early access, so I don't know. It could come to console still, but it's been in early access since I want to say
Last
May or June.
Yeah.
So I think they said a couple months. So it could come to console, which I hope it does so everyone else can experience it. But
Yeah.
a lot of fun. No, and it's not
Cool.
Gunfire Reborn. Like, I think the Reborn, obviously the Reborn's the roguelike, not the studio rebirth.
Yeah.
Although, speaking of the studio, I saw a new video for Chronos, the prequel to Remnant.
Right.
We might have mentioned that game before.
Maybe. I honestly don't remember.
It looks good, and it's only melee. There's no guns.
Huh.
You know what? Fuck it. Moose isn't here right now, but you guys want to start it this weekend? You want to start Remnant this weekend?
I
We can
mean,
start Remnant this
I'm
weekend.
in.
what is your week schedule like? Because I'm going to be gone this weekend.
I'm in.
We can start it a couple days before the weekend. I just want to play it like once by myself to learn the controls. So one session to figure shit out.
Awesome. Cool. Let's get back so he doesn't hear us.
So, that's a
Fucker has to listen to the show to get this content. Hey, hi Moose, how are you?
That's about it. There is a game coming out tomorrow. I mentioned it to Matt that hopefully I'll talk about next week. Second Extinction. It's a first-person
Yes, you did
shooter
mention this.
where you're fighting mutated dinosaurs.
Yeah, like
Man,
you
son of a
said like this has remnant stuff all over, and I looked at it. I'm like, okay, I don't see any remnant things. It just looks like you point a gun at dinosaurs, and he's like, and fair.
I think I got the remnant because I think I was referring to the co-op. The multi. Because I think since Remnant, I'm more open to the whole co-op shooter. Because I always heard co-op shooter, and I'm like, I don't like games that have to be like you could play this game single player too. So, but I'm like, you know what? I mean, I grew up with Turok, so shooting dinosaurs.
I could do a kill some dinosaurs
Those
game.
poor dinosaurs, they did nothing.
Maybe not, but
nah.
I watched the ACG video, but I don't 100% remember everything he said about this game.
So I will listen to your thoughts before I think about pulling the trigger, Jason. All due respect.
No, and you have time because I'll make sure I give you enough thoughts before your PC is built. So if you decide to join me.
Yeah, I'm working on that one too. So for me, played several games. What I'm going to talk about is Reba and I co-opted to the end of Guacamelee. We finished it this weekend.
Nice.
EG.
She was really happy, and I forgot how fucking frustrating the last area of that game is. It's I mean, Okay, Reba is not the most dexterous when it comes to platformers, and the one thing that intimidated her when we first started this was the need for combos. So now when you're doing all these platforming acrobatics with combat and blocking and everything, where it's basically throwing everything at you that you've learned, and I said this to her. I'm like, see, the problem here is we didn't play this consistently. So like I can figure it out pretty quickly just because A, I've done it before, and B, I just have an aptitude for platformers. She's like, yeah, that makes sense. But we got there, we beat Kalaka, and it was we were both happy to do it. It was another cool thing just to co-op with my wife. I like the fact that like she's playing games with me. Also, I put a wrap on the Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin Platinum today. And you know, now that I'm at the end of that, like I really like Dark Souls 2. I have a lot of strong problems with Dark Souls 2, but I still really like Dark Souls 2. My buddy Ahmed and I, we sort of co-opted the last 2 Mondays, and we tore that game a new one in a lot of interesting ways. But when it frustrates you, it doesn't let up, and when you are, sometimes it's like when you're a surfer riding that wave, when you're in control for that whatever amount of time you have control, like that's when the game sort of sings. But it's really when it brings you back to when it face plants you on the beach, it lets you know that you're going to be there for a while. But still, like it's, you know, it's part of that series. It's still a fucking phenomenal game, and I could constantly argue about where it belongs because even in my own order, it would change drastically.
Do you have all the platinums now? Do you have all the Souls platinums? All the Dark Souls platinums?
I have all of them on PS4, and and sadly, Demon Souls Remastered I'll have to get on PS5. But yeah, I did have that one on PS3. But I have them all where I'm eligible. I didn't buy multiple region versions of them where I could, and I'm just like, I don't think I need to. I'm not that guy. I did start up a China Hero Project game today. I played about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'd played it before, but not really discussed thoughts of it. But Hardcore Mecha. This is a side scroller, 2D. It has it's very anime. You can see where it is influenced by things like Gundam and Ideon and not necessarily Evangelion, but it definitely has kaiju influence as well, where you're sometimes you're fighting giant Godzilla-esque monsters, especially at the beginning. But side scroller, the combat in it is a little tough to get your head around. Not because there's a lot, but it's for some reason this game sort of leads me to believe it wants you to go fast, but the machine you're in kind of hinders your ability to go fast. I don't think that's a design flaw, but I think that's just like, hey, you're in a giant goddamn robot. How fast do you think this thing can fucking move? And I mean, when you're running, they definitely came up with a way to make it feel like it's a giant mech. And you kind of have to watch, like when you're firing or when you're going in for some melee, like everything kind of has to recharge, and it has, I mean, I would say cooldown, but cooldown implies it's multiple seconds, where like the recharge on your melee is probably about half a second. But if you're in a fight and you want to just keep wailing on somebody, it doesn't work that way. The boosting around is pretty liberal. It lets you fly around the screen you're on with pretty decent regularity. It is fun. I've gotten through 2 boss fights, and there's a lot of anime-esque dialogue, which, you know, I'm here for. And yeah, it's interesting, like the references they've used. At the beginning of each level, there's this woman speaking to you on your comm, and it sounds like a safety video for an airline, which is kind of funny, but you're not gonna fly. But it's just like she's giving you a briefing, but it's just kind of like, hey, you should probably wear your seatbelt. Like, she doesn't say that, but it's kind of like that's what it feels like. It feels like the beginning of a flight. Like, here are your emergency exits here, you know. And then there's definitely like a lot of Gundam archetypes. Like there's the brash Char Aznable type. There's the quiet Hero Way type. I mean, it's definitely pulling from that canon's influence. But I don't really think it's like, I wouldn't call it a bad ripoff. I think it's just more of an homage. So a good ripoff. But it's fun, and I'm definitely going to play more of it since I'm going to be off this week. So yeah. Also, for some reason, I decided to start Salt and Sanctuary again on PS4. I'm like, I need to hurt myself a little bit. Let's do this. And that game's still fucking good too. But I think I could just sort of leave that there, since I know we've talked about that other places, and possibly, yeah, I think just other places.
We've talked about it here.
Yeah, we've definitely mentioned it. I mean, it's
Good game.
I think if we were to come up with this podcast's 100 favorite games, it would be on there.
I think the only thing
there's an idea. Go ahead, Moose.
I was just gonna say, I think the only thing they could do to improve their games or polish like their development of games is add online co-op, because that game screams online co-op. And I mean, it's one dude programming it. You know, the wife does the artwork and he programs it, so it's totally understandable. And he's like, I'm not gonna try and mess with this. So
sure.
But I feel like
their Twitter account was active this weekend too. I forget the game that was announced, but it's going to have Salt and either the game coming out. I think it's Vigil, something.
Vigil, the Longest Night. It's coming out this week.
Yes, it is going. It is Vigil. Salt and Sanctuary stuff is going to be in Vigil or vice versa.
Probably
but
Salt and Sanctuary and Vigil.
I'm thinking that's it, because they were just like, thanks to Ska Studios for the help, and apparently they helped out. So
yeah, Vigil looks like a more modern Castlevania with some Salt and Sanctuary aspects.
Okay, I meant to watch the trailer, but I did not, because I got distracted. So whenever there's a shiny, Matt goes, ooh, shiny. So that's it for me for games. Moose, did you have anything else to add about Salt and Sanctuary, or do you want to move?
It's good. Play it. That's about it. I mean, I can lament about that game, so don't need to.
So good. Yeah, it really is. So some other shit happened. Not a lot of big shit, a lot of little shit. What's everybody's new trophy level?
450.
You're making me go back to the.
I'm a lot lower than yours.
Moose is 330.
I was gonna say 3 something, 340.
Matt's 472, and Michaela's didn't share it.
255 for me.
I gotta say,
250.
I like how they basically made it's clear how many points you're gonna get when you're gonna get it, but to what end? For what, like the guy who
somewhere something hasn't refreshed, because I'm 473, motherfucker.
I was going off of what I read in text last week, so
That's
motherfucker.
That's fine.
The guy who has the Guinness World Record, Hakum, is it? He's already at level 999. He's max.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well, what's the so there's a max, which makes no sense then. And there's no rewards. Like I've said this before, like you should get like themes or maybe an avatar or just nothing major, but just have something that like, or even like I said before the show, like in Diablo does a Paragon level, like the frame around but even Call of Duty does it. Like when you prestige, you get like a little, it looks different, like just something like to reflect like every 50
Isn't
level.
the star supposed to change like next to your little thing? Like the star is supposed to be different colors and like
I didn't
designs. It's not much, but it's negligible.
I mean, it's whatever. That's what they wanted to do.
I mean, I still think ultimately Sony is shocked that people take something that means this little and do it this much. So I think they're trying to, I think if anything, they probably have one or two people probably thinking about how we can do something with this, but then any idea they have, it probably gets shot down.
I guess my question is, why change it if all you're going to do is change the numbers up?
Yeah. Yeah, just like great. Every time I get a platinum trophy, I'll probably move a level. Fantastic.
I mean, that feels nice though, because like I was talking about the old system, I could get 5 platinums to move 1 level, and I was only at like level 14.
Yeah.
So, my question was, because I saw conflicting information. Did they not confirm that you'll be able to track trophy progress for PS5?
So it came out first that you could, but then it was taken down from that French site that you couldn't. But then I saw a few articles from, I'm not going to poke fun at any sites, but they posted that you could. I don't know if it's been confirmed because the site that leaked it first, it was the French PlayStation site, removed it. And all the sites referenced that post. So it's not, that's cool.
So it's unclear.
So the fact that you can track trophies, if the developers put it in,
that would be
cool.
Nice. That would be really nice.
Collect 100 artifacts, and you could see I have 80.
Got 88. Yeah.
I would love that because Lord knows trying to get all those freaking hexes in the Souls games or curses or sorceries or miracles or pyromancies, sometimes that can be quite the motherfucker.
You know what I can't stand that games do when in PlayStation games, it says trophies on the menu. And like, oh, maybe there's a menu option. You hit trophies and it brings you back to the PlayStation, like the home screen trophies. And it's like, I fell for it. I fell for it again.
You got me again, Sony.
Every time.
But it's like, you would think it would bring up like some in-game menu showing you a list. It's like, no, we're going to bring you to your actual profile. Like, no.
I did not want to leave the game. Thank you, game.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you for taking my own profile. I see what you did. Thanks.
Just kind of like, I did this. Fuck me, right? What else happened? Michaela, Jason?
The teardown of the PlayStation 5.
Looking at that fan.
Looking at
hopefully it's a lot quieter.
That liquid metal.
Mm-hmm.
What interests me was, and people were pointing out how easy it was to take the faceplates off, which means we could be seeing custom designs.
That would be nice instead of having to buy a new system.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I would ever do it because I can't even see my PlayStation on my current TV stand. It's buried back there.
So are you going horizontal now? Again, next gen?
Probably.
Are you not going to stand it up?
So
if he stands it up, it's too likely that someone with little hands and feet and little reach can just knock it down.
I know
both of them can walk around with objects that they swing, and I'm not worried about hands. I'm worried about more just
worried about blunt PS4 trauma.
Just like
Amelia was walking around with a a Swiffer. He can carry it now, and she's like marching. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna end poorly. Either
God,
she's gonna
she's
swing
armed.
it, or she's gonna run with it and pole vault over something. The
Inside
dog.
of 6 months, she's gonna use that like Saint Ear spear in Dark Souls 2. She's gonna be swinging around like Darth Maul. It'll be
Oh,
great.
poor Callie. Callie's gonna be running for her life.
Callie's.
No, but I think it's cool for people who have been wanting to customize the faceplates. It just seems to just kind of snap off.
Mhm. I mean, I thought this was cool to see. I thought this was cool to see because, partly because I'm in the midst of buying parts to build a PC, but also like seeing someone take this apart sort of demystifies it a lot of the time. Now, does that mean I'm gonna, get my screwdriver and take my PS5 or even my PS4 apart? No. I know the bull in a china shop that I am, and I'm not going to subject something that I paid $400 for or $500 for a PS5.
Yeah. I mean,
I like that
it
it's
makes
easy to
it
clean though. Like
it
it's easy to get
it
the
seems
dust
like-
out.
seems it easier to clean and easier to upgrade the storage.
Yep.
Although I saw that Western Digital is made the first compatible storage drives, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
They're
And
gonna
then
be
I
so
looked at the
expensive.
prices, and then I was like, I spent
Flash?
$430.
Yeah.
I spent $430 on the PS5 and the charging dock. The 2 terabyte expandable storage is $449.
Yeah.
No, thank you, sir.
Flash NVMe is fucking expensive. The amount of PS5s they have to sell, I can't even imagine that this thing costs $500 because of the shit that's in the box. For both Xbox and especially for Sony, with the speed they've got in their SSD, flash storage is not cheap. So
Hang on. Just hang on. So how much was the storage?
So there's 500, 1 terabyte, and 2 terabyte. The 2 terabyte is $450.
How much is the 500 or the 100?
The 5, I think, was
don't
100.
spend money on a 500 though, because you
But
know.
yeah,
Oh no,
$500
I'm just curious the price
I think
ranges.
the
Yeah,
5
I would
was
not.
around 100. I think it
I'm
was
too much
little
of a
more than
seasoned
100.
gamer to do
Because
that.
I bought I bought an NVMe for my PC and it was only $90. It's
But that's not as bad. It's proprietary.
Yeah.
These
but
have to be
Sony.
these are
I don't think they have
proprietary
to be
now.
proprietary, but I
they
think
have to be they have to be vendor approved to work. with
Right.
this
So they
stuff.
have to be built the way Sony wants them to be built. It's not like
But even then, like as another comparison, so a Sony approved Seagate 2 terabyte external hard drive, not SSD that I just
Mhm.
bought, you can get for $70 to $90.
yeah.
But that's probably not going to work with your PS5.
No,
It will for
Yeah.
PS4
Oh, it will?
games.
Yeah, for PS4 games. You can't put PS5
PS4
games
installs
on
to a hard drive. PS5 installs to the solid state.
so. The 500 gigabytes 150. The 1 terabyte's 229, and the 2 terabytes 449.
So you're buying 2 consoles.
If you want to
Yeah,
get
if you
a
get the
2 terabyte.
if you get the 2 terabyte, you're
At
buying.
that point, just delete your games, bite the bullet. It's
Yeah. Just take it's. I mean, I know Jason is probably the one of us that plays the most games at once.
Yes.
Moose is probably second, but like I think Michaela and I are we've got one we're gonna finish.
I'm gonna have to start
maybe-
taking that route.
Maybe 2, but like I've never had a problem. I mean, I have every so often I get the alert that like my current storage is going to fill up, so I just delete something, and it doesn't take that long.
No.
But I think if it were a situation where I had to, if I had people over and I had to download something and then delete stuff, like that stuff becomes a hassle. But also
Well, also, you're talking SSDs for next-gen games. They should
Yeah.
ideally download a lot faster.
it should.
Yeah, hopefully
should.
Sony fixes their goddamn.
They should, but also internet in this country is spotty. It's inconsistent.
But, I mean, it's person to person is going to vary, but like comparable to your own experience on your internet, PS4 versus
should be
PS5,
faster.
the games should be faster
Yeah.
to download and
Mhm.
install.
Yeah, and I mean, if I use my external from all my PS4 games, I have a 4 terabyte. I'm not really concerned with space for the. If I only have to download one PS5 game, finish it, and then play another, it's not like I bounce between multiplayer games where I need like different ones installed.
Yeah.
Because I'm not playing a ton of single play. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'll play Overwatch tonight. Oh, I'll play Call of Duty tonight. Like, it's not like that. And those games are massive.
I'm also hoping we should see better economy and compression in file size, because the end of this generation, obviously that is spiking. We've got 100 gig games coming out left, right, and center in the AAA space. That should course correct down a little bit over the next year or so. Like, these games are going to be huge, but the developers should be better with assets. It's going to vary developer to developer as well. Like, we know COD, egregious. FromSoft, very small files for pretty good sized games. Like, Sekiro is like an 18 gig game, and that's not a small game. So different developers, it depends on the engine and all that shit, but I won't go into that. But we should see a little bit of a course correction back down to a more doable file size so that you could feasibly have 10 AAA games installed on the PS5 for PS5, not talking about the hard drive and PS4 games.
Yeah, and those Western Digital prices, Western Digital's the first one to announce compatible. Once you see Seagig and other ones come out, that $449 is going down.
Yeah, it'll probably come like $349.
Because Western Digital's, because think about it, it's coming up on Christmas. If nobody else has it, people will pay the $450 for a 2 terabyte.
Yeah.
But there's also,
I mean,
just this early with so few actual PS5 games, unless like you are a professional reviewer and you are constantly like you're ACG, you're doing a new review every week for massive games, you don't need to have a 2 terabyte external SSD right now. There's no, you should wait on it basically.
I could probably think of like 3 games. If I end up getting the PS5, I could think of 3 games that are going on it. Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and Division 2, and that's it.
And I bet you Bloodborne is going to be a low file size.
And that's also not going to compete, right?
Yeah, it'll be on my PS4 hard drive on my PS5.
Well, no, yeah, well, no, unless you download it from the PS Plus collection, that might be optimized.
My question, no, yeah, I was going to say if it's a PS4 game, but it's optimized for PS5, does it go to the hard drive or the solid state?
Well, there'll probably be 2 different versions. There'll be 2 different versions in the store because there'll still be the PS4 version that you could buy, but then there will be the PS5
but
version.
What if you're me and you're putting a disc in and you can play optimized?
That would be cool.
Where does that install?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's the other thing. They did talk. They finally did an official statement. They did finally talk about backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I'm pissed about this. Those 10 games are my 10 favorite games of all time.
Only one game on that list. Only one game on that list I'm upset about, but I'm okay.
Damn you, Sony.
Shadow Complex.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's and Hitman Go is the only those are like the 2
I platinum that one, so
I'm done with that.
That it doesn't matter. And it's like
what were the 10 games? Do you have the list?
They're pretty small. There is a list somewhere, but
I'll look it up.
And I don't know if they said those will never be backwards compatible.
No, they just said they're not now, is what I'm saying. So it's like Chair could fix that in the future.
But I know
the
one of them.
What they were talking about was day 1 backwards compatibility.
So it's DWVR, which I don't know what that is, but the dev came out the next day and actually said that we are actively working to get it compatible.
Yeah. So these ones just aren't ready yet.
Afro Samurai 2.
I don't even think you can get that anymore. That's the game I think that Gideon bought, and then it was like such trash that they pulled it back off the market. So
now you can't on the fucking list then.
Isle of Man, Ride on the Edge 2. I think that's a motorcycle game. Just Deal with It. Shadow Complex Remastered. Robinson the Journey.
No idea.
We Sing.
Wait, is Robinson the Journey the PSVR game? What was that game? That was
Hitman Go, Shadwin, and Joe's Diner.
I mean, in all honesty, of any of the games that could not be compatible with the PS5, I'd be like, you're fine with these. You know, even though I love Shadow Complex, I think it's a great game. It's a great metric.
Oh, so like all the other 3,000 games will be compatible with PS5? Is that what I'm to understand?
On day one.
Yeah, day one.
Every game but these 10 will be compatible.
Every game but these 10. Okay, so
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can put all your discs in that you have, and you're good.
I mean, Hitman Go. I was really hoping for those microsecond.
I know that there's going to be someone somewhere on a podcast, not unlike this one, that would make the argument for some of these games and like somehow project some disappointment.
Afro Samurai 2 is one of the worst received games of all time. Again,
I just know that there's going to be someone out there.
Oh
going,
no,
man,
of course.
But like also, it's just like patience is a virtue. If it
you've got like thousands of other games to play, and you're fine.
And
I haven't touched.
Chances are, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Hitman Go, not a long game. You have a month to beat a game that takes 3 hours at most.
If you started Hitman Go when we started recording, you could possibly have the platinum by the end of this.
Yeah, if you had the walkthrough. But like, still, I just think that I feel like that's a pretty out of like close to 4,000 games, and they only missed 10 of them.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's good.
I feel like that's pretty good.
That's what we've been wanting from them. That's what we asked for.
Here's the thing: like when we were coming into this, a lot of people are like hesitant about buying a PS4 because it's like, what if my favorite games don't work? Now that they've actually come out and said it, I'm sure they're going to make more sales, because like Jeff and I were talking about that. He's like, I don't know what'll work. He's got disc versions because it was cheaper for him to buy, and so he was just like, I don't even, until they say something on what is backwards compatible, I am not, he's like, I'm not pushing to buy one. And now, he still might not be pushing to buy one, but at least he knows all the games he has discs for will play on his PS4.
Yeah.
So,
and from what the dev of DWVR said, that makes me think, all right, it's up to these 9 other developers. It's not on Sony.
Yeah,
Sony basically said, here's what you need to do, get it to work, and so people are gonna have to be mad at the developer. Like,
that's what Sony also said with cross saves. So you can move save data over from PS4 to PS5 so long as the developer has enabled it. I believe that's what they said. And you can use the cloud, but you can use a thumb drive, whatever the fuck you want to use.
And the ability to play PS4 games is, so if you're digital, you just download it. If you're physical, you put the disc in and you're taken to the store and you download it.
Okay.
So basically, physical becomes digital in a sense because you have to download something.
But it's just like they've bought this, boom, they get the digital version. Yeah.
Then do you need to keep using the disc? Is my question.
That
Once
I'm not
you get
sure.
it down from the store, I'd be curious to know that. Not that I.
Yeah, because I'm curious about because Avengers, everyone gets a free upgrade. So I'm wondering if the disc then just gets a PS5 digital version when you put the disc in or something.
And then, basically, I just don't know. Do you need to keep using the disc after the initial download?
You might not, so it's something to find out. But
And they enable my lazy ass even harder.
But yeah, so I mean, we know, and the only other thing, what was it? The camera will not work with the PS5 camera will not work with the PS4 VR. People were in shock of this, but it's not that surprising. Like, new tech comes out for anything else in the tech world, it doesn't generally work with like a camera for a VR unit shouldn't, like a new system shouldn't work. Like, that would have been surprising if they said, "Oh, it'll work." Like it's a new camera. But your your PS4 camera will work with. Yeah, I think you need an adapter. They said it's free at 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess you just apply.
As someone who bought a VR bundle that had the camera and everything with it, I'm not too upset about this. But if it was a situation where actually no, I have no reason to be upset about this. There's zero reason. Never mind. I'm sorry I said anything. Yeah, that sound.
You could have technically bought the headset without a camera.
You can, but at some point you have to buy the camera because the VR doesn't work without it.
Right.
So if you're selling, so when you're selling your PS4, don't sell the camera if you want to keep your PSVR.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I think
honest,
that's
my camera's not plugged in if my PSVR is not plugged in. So
yeah,
nobody needs to see me while I'm streaming.
I mean, every so often when I stream, I like to watch it. I like to have myself on screen. So I don't know.
My problem.
I'm a narcissist, I guess. I don't know.
My problem ultimately, if I stream, I have the camera set up because the TV is mounted on the wall. The camera's above the TV because of tracking for VR. So if I'm streaming, it can't see me. But then if I move it, the VR tracking's off. I'm like, oh, fuck this.
I have an old camera. I don't have VR, but I have a camera from when I was streaming because I bought it explicitly for the purpose of streaming natively off of PS4.
Right.
There was something
Next
else.
up.
There was something else Sony related, and now I can't remember. We talked real quick about the teardown. One thing that I was very happy to have confirmed, because originally we could only see the ports on the front of it, and now we've seen the ports on the back of it. So on the front there is the standard USB and a USB-C, and on the back there are at least 2 additional USBs, which is nice.
Yep.
Now, as someone who does not know the difference, because I'm very stupid.
USB.
So it's the regular USB would be like what you plug in.
That's USB-C right there.
Your phone is your USB-C. It's the small. It's the new version. It's basically the version where people don't have to go plug it in, go nope, plug it in, go nope, and then try it the first time.
It's also more optimized. It charges things better. It reacts faster.
Yeah. But it started with it started with the phones. But it'll be nice because you could just I'll be able to plug my USB-C cable in to charge the phone, because that's what they're all now like, or they're all like now. So
I like it because I still have a standard PS4 and I only have 2 USB ports.
Yeah, same.
Which are used up.
It's very annoying.
What are you using them for?
Charger,
hard drive,
internal hard drive,
the hard drive, and then the VR.
Oh, that's right. I'm like, I got the Pro. It's got the one in the back.
I don't use I don't even use obviously I wouldn't use it with this one, but the Sony Golds, because it has the receiver.
Yeah, you need a spot.
Is that how the next gen wireless, the 3D audio one?
I didn't look. I didn't get the headset.
I did, and I forget. I didn't even look. I was just like, add to cart. Best Buy, please check out. Please check out.
It might be built in since it's launching with it, but I could be wrong.
I think
it's out in a month.
I think it's compatible. Sorry, I just thought I saw a centipede. I did not.
Twice in a row, they're coming after you.
Literally, though, I woke up this morning, killed a centipede. I went to bed last night, I killed a centipede.
My job is
insane. I see shadows where there are none, and I assume it's bugs. What was
I'm pretty sure there are acid flashbacks that work that way too.
I think the PS5 headset is compatible with devices other than just the PS5, if I remember.
That's cool.
That'll be cool.
I don't quote me on that, but I think it is.
Someone's getting a call.
That was about it.
Yeah.
For PlayStation.
Cool. Any other?
1 month to go.
Other news was just studios in trouble this week. Level 5 shutting down their North American operations.
This sucks.
Which sucks. They apparently might still be operating in Japan. Don't know. Part of that problem isn't the quality of the games they make, but it's management. Like they do a lot of stuff that's not just gaming. They do like an anime for the games. They do a mobile game for the games, and they just split their focus too much, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we were talking about Lab Zero, who was under the publishing label of 505, officially going under. Like we've known for a little while, or suspected for a little while, that they were going under. They made Indivisible, and Jason and I both had the physical Switch edition pre-ordered for that, which is now officially canceled. It is not coming to North America. So
And 505 is not in the news in a good light ever anymore.
Yeah,
Anymore.
they're not. They ain't doing it right, man.
No.
I think every company from now on, it should be like, hey, 505, our game's on PS5, free upgrade. Our game's on Xbox Series X, free upgrade.
They're going to be sitting there going, how did you do that? Poor 505. But also.
But not.
Yeah, the Lab Zero shit is, like, it sucks for those employees that felt that way and were put in those positions and given a shitty work environment. And I hope they all move to better pastures because fuck, man, from what I know about making video games, and I don't know very little, I know it's very difficult. So I know and a lot of times it's a very thankless job. So hopefully they find a little bit of light out there, which is difficult in 2020.
We did get the Plus free games for October. Yeah, this month.
That is the month we are in, yes.
Vampire and Need for Speed Payback.
Sticking with the Halloween theme. Last year, I want to say,
A game I want and the worst driving game in a while, I think. Or at least the worst Need for Speed game in a while.
Finally, a good excuse to pick up Vampire. Don't Nod definitely did something different with that game, and I've just never pulled the trigger on it, and now I have it.
And speaking of Need for Speed, there's a remaster next month.
Hot Pursuit.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember the last time I heard about that game was when I first started. When did that come out? Like 2009? 2010? But I remember talking to a classmate of mine who, like, when I just started the program at Community College of Philadelphia, and the person who I was speaking with would fail out a month or two later. So I never played Need for Speed Hot Pursuit with him. Never bought it.
Sad.
Don't know if I'll buy it now. I hope you're doing all right, Chris. You see, I thought you were cool.
I was going to say
But,
last year's games in October were Last of Us and MLB The Show 19. So
the Halloweenist of sports games, MLB The Show.
I know.
I mean, I get it. You know, the World Series is usually in October.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But,
Didn't the World Series happen recently?
Not yet.
Now, how many more games do they have? I don't even know.
They're in the
They're in the playoffs, aren't they?
They're in the championship series.
Oh, who's playing?
Astros and Rays, and I don't know. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, because the Yankees got swept.
The Yankees
right?
didn't get in, did they?
Yeah, the
Yankees
Yankees
didn't
got
get swept. They didn't get swept.
Okay.
They didn't get
Thank
swept.
God for that, but fuck the Yankees.
Moving on.
Hey, LeBron James won another NBA title. We're here. It's my basketball team, and I'm not happy about it, but whatever. Anyway, any other game news? Okay. So I think that means we can wrap it up.
Moose?
Not yet.
No.
I just want to say one thing. No, it's not going to be a dad joke. I just want to let y'all know because I haven't had a chance to yet. I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to be on vacation. And at the time of recording this next week's show, I'll be drunk off my ass. So enjoy that. Moose, take us away. At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fun culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter at StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool at Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter at RedXMod. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be at infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.